All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the WTA Learn. It's August the 12th. So, and Monday, and we're going to jump ahead and go right into our training here. As you guys well know, our cause, our aim, our campaign, our mission, our goal that we have in place, our crusade, is to get people off of probate and to bring wellness back into the workplace. It's what we love to be able to do and to have set in place here. I want to start off here with sharing with you a publication, should say that a article, and I want to be able to go through this so we can all be in singing the same tune, harmonizing the same exact way here. Share my screen. So what you're seeing here on your, oh, wait a minute, it's coming, on your screen is this is an article from USA Today. And this was at the end of July, just shy of 2 weeks ago. Inheritance on hold. Most Americans don't understand the time and expense of probate. Wait, hold up. We want to get people off of probate, right? Most Americans don't even understand the time and the expense of probate. Unfortunately, we don't want them to be unprepared when they do actually, and when they are actually faced with it. It's going to make it a little bit larger here for my sake. Here, it says nothing is certain, they said, but death and taxes. Yet many Americans know surprisingly little about the legal process that follows a loved one's death. A new report titled The State of Probate in America. We're getting that report, by the way. We'll have it in your back office real soon. Finds many Americans badly misinformed about the basic facts of probate. Drawing from a representative survey of 1,000 adults, the report found more than half Americans have no idea what probate costs. Less than half of us understand that inheritance is not automatic. Only 2% of respondents know how long it takes to settle an estate. I mean, this article right here does some major addressing of the issue. And now here's what you need to grab a hold of and understand. Because of the great wealth transfer and because of the status in which everything is put into place, they're going to become very acutely aware of these little known surveyed facts here that they're talking about, because this is real, everyone, and it's really impacting people in a major way, So the facts and the figures are all out here. You'll get a hold of this article. We'll have it all set up there in a nice PDF for you to be able to have. The documentation oftentimes can beat conversation, but you always got to learn the sales technique of wrapping it around stories. And if you don't have a story, use someone else's story. There's tons of stories out there, even amongst our advocates and affiliates, that we personally have experienced as it relates to the transfer that happens of wealth and as it relates to not having an estate plan or having an estate plan. This there, and we hear them time and time again, and we'll have more calls and things of that nature where individuals can be able to perhaps lay out their probate story and why they believe it's important to help people get off of probate, and why they are joining the crusade, the mission, the campaign, the commission of doing this, all of what we're talking about. Now, here, part of the article entitles Americans Have No Idea How Much Probate Costs. More than half of the survey respondents said that they have no idea how much probate costs, and only 4% believe that it costs more than $10,000. Typically, 3 to 7% although it could be more. That's there according to Trusted Wills. So Trusted Wills is becoming that data head, that information sector. They're grabbing a hold of a lot of that stuff and being able to document a lot of things with their surveys and all the stuff that they're putting down there. So this stuff is very important to know. Why? Because this is what we're marketing. This is what we're getting in the middle of. This is what we're faced with, and to make sure that we can help others understand what's happening there and the value to which we bring. And most do. Most grab it. There's a lot of facts and figures and statistics. All I'm trying to tell you guys is that what we're offering is newsworthy. It's on the headlines. It's everywhere that's out there. So I'm not going to read through the whole article. You'll be able to get this article in place. So you'll be able to see it and go through it as well. But just want to highlight to you that there is that is there for you. Now, what I want to be able to go through here and now with you is to bring up our demo, because I can't get enough of showing you one and all exactly how things work as it relates to our estate planning software, our technology. All right, pull that up. All right, if I can get a thumbs up, are you guys seeing the welcome center? I'm sorry, the welcome your client. Let's see. Welcome to your client center, John. All right, somebody got it. There you go. All right, so let's go through this. There are 5 steps. Thank you for the thumbs up, guys. There are 5 steps. 5 steps that's in place. I'm gonna read through the steps, and then we're gonna go through some of the stuff because I think it's great to be able to see. Oh, and coming soon, we're gonna have something that you can use for this in marketing. The script is being worked on that, so just stay tuned. That will also be in the back office soon. Hopefully, you guys saw last Thursday's training in there, and we also had some other different pieces that were added. We're getting hot and heavy on it, and things are moving quickly. All right, so here are the 5 steps, guys. Step 1 is the interview. Step 2 is reviewing your trust. Step 3, printing and getting it ratified or signed and notarized and all that stuff. Now, step 4 is funding it, and step 5 is uploading your documents into your security vault. All right, so let's go through these steps and let's look at it. The interview. This is the thing that makes it dynamic, guys. Our interview here is phenomenal. See, our technology is friendly, it's easy, and it's an interface that you can follow. It lists all of the items that you need to successfully complete the interview. Now, doing this interview is where you're going to input all your data. All right. You're going to input all your data during this interview, right? It's going to tell you all the things that you need: names and contacts of your beneficiaries, names and dates of birth for your children, names, and you're going to have all of that stuff set right there and in place for you. It's going to be listed right there for you. All right. You're also going to have set in there the names and contacts of your agents and trustees. They define the roles on that role tab. We're going to look at that in just a moment. And this is where you're going to input all your information and select your beneficiaries, your trustees, and make other decisions that are necessary to create your complete and comprehensive estate plan. It then will customize that plan without legalese. It's going to put it in regular English so you can actually understand it. And you got to understand, neither you, neither WTA corporate, neither your customers need to have any legal knowledge. None of that's required. And at no time are they going to be required to write in any language. It produces all the attorney drafted documents that are needed, and it's for them just simply filling in the blanks to the questions and answering yes or no questions. They're just going to fill in the blanks and yes or no questions. See, the technology that we're going to look at here, that we are offering here, is set up in a phenomenal way. It's based on a decision tree programming. All that means, guys, is that how a client answers the questions will determine the language that it will pull from the database that it has. And from that database, when it pulls it, it's going to populate the attorney drafted documents needed to complete their estate plan. So, for example, when they choose, they go in here, when they choose uh, the state, their address, the state here, right? As it says here, there are 50 states in this nation. Pick one, pick the one of your address. This will also determine the situs, I know I said it wrong, the situs, or governing laws of your document. So your documents will be customized to fit each state. If you change this later, you will need to regenerate new documents. Okay. It also goes so far as the local, county, or equivalent in the United States. Now it says here, a county is a political and geographical subdivision of a state. The term county is used in 48 of the US, of the 50 US states. Louisiana calls them parishes. That's right. And Alaska calls them boroughs. That's how it's set up there. Your county is where documents are such as property deeds are recorded. The sheriff works for your local county, et cetera, et cetera. All right. It's set up that once you choose those particular jurisdictions that's there, then it's going to trigger, the technology will, all the specific language from the database that might be specific to your particular situation, needs, and it's going to adhere to those laws that's there. All right. So this happens also outside of state. That's just an example. The software is intuitive in that it can work the same way to the answers to questions that can lead to more comprehensive type of situations when it comes to putting your documents together. For example, are you going to have a standard trust or an AB trust? An AB trust is something that's there that can be able to identify and work with more complex blended family type of dynamics. It's going to go through, and does it need to address organ donation? Depending upon how you answer the questions there, it's going to address that, or special need family members, that's there. It will go through and answer those particular questions as well. It's going to provide the terminology of everything that's needed there. Now, while the process, of course, is as simple as checking your email, it still provides help if needed. Now, what kind of help? Well, it has videos here, because right here is talking about distribution, and you can put joint sub-trust for children, and it has a video here to help explain what that all entails and how you would perhaps use it. This there. It also goes through and provides you with other means of things to help you with, like these little pop-up things here, which has text and videos for you to watch to get you going in the right direction along the way. It provides that for you as well. And it also has here kind of a glossary of terms in certain instances that you can go through where it provides the definition of things all along the way. You get that in pop-ups, you get that in listings and all that stuff. This there, like here, successor, trustee. Boom. What is it? It gives you the definitions. It's right there, right? It's all right there in place for you. Now, once you go through all of that and you have all that set in a place, you click on review because you're at the finish of all of those. And when you get the review, it's going to tell you if it was successfully completed by having the green check marks. All right. Now, if you have a question mark here, it's going to give you some different dynamics is here. Like here, it says under disinherited, there was nothing that was entered. And if you have anyone that disinherited, please enter them before continuing. It's letting you know that because you have that listed on here as if you wanted to be able to do that or not, right? Or to tell you other options, burial information and final thoughts. It's saying that this was incomplete for both John and Jane Doe on that. And if you have anything like that, they want you to be able to put it in there. But otherwise, the green check marks says that, hey, you've completed it properly, right? And then once you do that, you're able to click here on save, here to continue, and voila. What happens at that point? You are now at step 2. Well, does anybody remember what step 2 is or was? Let's go back real quick. Let's see if we can get there real quick. Wonderful. Guess we're not going to get there real quick. Just bear with me for a second. Obviously, it timed me out. All right, and we're back. All right, so now what was step 2? Is to review your trust. We saw the review piece there, but this is the real review of the trust right here. All right, because this one has it all laid out for you. Got it like a little electronic portfolio and all that stuff that's right there. Okay, now guess what? You can generate the documents here. So if I go to the welcome, it's going to go through and it's going to tell me my yellow tab is, my blue, my red, and my green. It's going to go through all of that and give me good order of what to be able to do next. And I go through here, and that's the interview review again, the one that we saw just a moment ago, right? It's right inside there. Then I go to my revocable living trust. And guess what? I can generate the document. That's there that from all the things that I filled out, or I can go here and edit the interview, go back and maybe change some of my questions, or I can also upload another document or two if I wanted to be able to have it here. So you're right. So here we could generate the documents, we can review them, we can go back and make changes if needed. This section lists here also when a notary or witnesses are required on different things. It will go through all of that for me as well, for me to be able to see and to go through. I got my certificate of trust. I got my last will and testament there. Got my financial power of attorney, healthcare power of attorney, my living will and advance directive, all that right there in place. And oh, by the way, I didn't scroll down, but it tells you down here at the bottom here what needs to be signed. Let me go back here. I think I didn't do that for there. See it? When I went to my revocable living trust, it tells me there's a notary required. There's witnesses required. There's a signature required. I go to my certificate of trust, notary, and signature. I go to my last will and testament, notary, witnesses, and signature. Go to my financial power of attorney. Here they are. I go here, healthcare. There they are. I only need the signature and the witnesses for the living will and the advance directive. All right. So once I'm fine with that and I can generate those documents and get it all signed, guess what it then now tells me that I need to be able to do and operate from that point forward. It brings forward something that's very interesting. All right. It's going to bring me to it in a moment. Hang on. Trying to be patient. Last time I think I clicked too fast and it jumped me around. All right. So after I did that, it says here that this is the last step before funding your trust, right? And that the review section, it lists when a notary and all the stuff that we said that, but that's before that. So now that I got all that stuff signed, I can go ahead and go in and fund the trust, right? That's what the lawyers do. They put it all inside and you get it signed. And oftentimes that's where the lawyer ends, but you still got to get it funded. So let's go to funding the trust. Right here, funding kit. We've gone through this a number of times. However, I want to be able to go through it again with you. All right. So let's start with all other assets. And as you can see here, for all other assets, ladies and gentlemen, there are 18 tabs, and the 19th one is other assets. These are to help you to get the thing funded. You have funding letters and all that stuff that you could be able to draw from it all, right? To be able to see that is there. See, I had a question in here. How does the beneficiary get access to the trust once the owner has passed on it? Very good. So it's a number of different ways that can happen. One, if the person has it printed out and they have it in a place where they have let them know, that's one way, whether that's home or wherever. Two, if typically what is best offered is that they have a certificate of trust. If they have the certificate of trust and the certificate of death, the proof of death of the person, they can take all of that and be able to provide that here for the platform, and you'll be able to get access to the full trust because they have a certificate that's there. So it's paramount that the people that are involved in the trust lets the beneficiaries know and have something that they have this in place, right? Because when a person passes, or let's say I'll use a single individual who perhaps maybe has some children that's there and they pass, the nobody knows here on this platform that, oh, the person passed until it's brought to the attention by the loved ones and the beneficiaries. That's the only way that that's going to happen out. Similarly, like a life insurance dynamic, if a person passes away, claim needs to be filled out, a claim form with the death certificate before they're able to receive the things that they were the beneficiary of. So that's similar how this will work. If you have a certificate of trust, it has the details on there of what to be able to do and how to be able to handle that on that side. And it's advised to be able to provide that to your beneficiaries. Hopefully that answers that question. Funding the trust, which is step 4. You have all that here. You have the instructions here. All right. As it says here, just listing your assets here does not fund them into your trust. You also need to sign and likely mail out your funding documents. This is very important to be able to do. It gives you the guidelines here of being able to fund the critical importance of funding your trust. Funding your trust is about a part of completing your estate plan. Goes through the method of transferring ownership or making the beneficiaries. That, ladies and gentlemen, is a fact. Either the trust becomes the owner or the trust becomes the beneficiary. That's how it works, in general, to be able to do that. All right. And it goes through all the steps, as you can see, very comprehensive. Make it a priority to fund your trust. Can't say it anymore. Why is that repeated and put in here so many times? Because out there, outside of our solution, they say that there's over 60% of estate plans, trust, and things of that nature are never funded. Never. We got to erase that because it's a useless, or as it says, it's it's a waste to be able to have that. Okay, so let's go ahead. Yeah, checking account, savings account, CDs, non-qualified investment accounts, safe deposit boxes, all listed here on how to be able to deal with and handle that. And you can be able to add and put those things right on there. Excuse me. You have number 4. Sorry about that. Then you have number 4, which is vehicles, cars, boats, RVs. You go through this. You have the map there of all the Department of Motor Vehicles throughout the United States, all right there for all to see and for you to be able to go through and go through whatever criteria your state of jurisdiction requires so that you can have them all listed there. You also have a liability and property and casualty coverages. It's there. You also have life insurance. All right. Now, some of these, like life insurance, like banks, all that, they'll have their own beneficiary paperwork as well. But you have those funding letters that you can also send as attachments for that. Disability insurance is also listed out here. Employer provided insurance also listed there. All right. Retirement plans, IRAs. Did I already look through on here as well? Make sure everything is on the up and up and set up to adhere to all the rulings that need to be in place. Listen, this software is so intuitive, it even does the proper things for prenuptial agreements and all that. You have also pensions set into place there as well. You have non-qualified tax-deferred annuities. All right, you got annuities all set into place there. You also have stocks and bonds and mutual funds, on how to handle all of that information here, and adhere to all the treasury docs and forms for the bonds and others. Business interests, sole proprietorship, partners, LLC, and corps. The ownership that you have in that can also be transferred through this system. There's assignment document, and the ledger of business and the interest that you have, in that particular business name, percentage of that company that you own, and all of that stuff is there to be addressed. You can add a business there, as you can see, the name of the business, type of business, owned by, ownership percentage, estimated value, address, city and state. All that's right there to be able to bring those in. You have notes payable, money owed to you, all of those IOUs you can be able to collect. Intellectual property rights. And then click there for U.S. patents and trademarks that you have. Those things are also inheritable. Right? You have mineral interests and the rights of limestone and coal and gravel and all that stuff that's listed there. The rights to oil and gas as well. You also have foreign assets. If you own any assets that you can transfer them to a living trust if revocable living trusts are recognized in the country where the asset is located. All right. Your attorney should consult with an attorney in the country to determine all of that that's there. All right. You got it right here in your software to say, hey, if you need an attorney for that, you got it to be able to work it. You have the other things all in play. Personal property, right, that you have here. Be able to put that. This is household items, clothes, jewelry, furniture, other similar items that are in place to avoid probating these assets. That's there. And then there's the other. All right. So you have all of that right there for you. Let's go back. Let's go to funding. And then let's look at real estate. You can come in here in the real estate to be able to get everything done right here and have it titled right over without having to leave your house, your computer, your phone. To have any of that, you got it right there, and you can go right there to the deed service and go ahead and start the deed. There's, it says here that anywhere in the U.S. for as little as $75, quick claim or warranty deed, right there, right over. It includes the processing fees and taxes and all those other different things. It says you can add additional services, such as having them prepare all the forms in your state and being able to do all that stuff as well, so that it's all done in a city, right? You may say, well, what are the average fees for recording fees by my state? They'll give you the list of those as well. You have to pick your state. That should pop up. There it is. So you can be able to go through and figure it out, wherever it is there, and see what they're all about. All right. All that service is set up right there for you to be able to have that in place. And then once you have that in place, ladies and gentlemen, that would complete funding, which is the step 4. And then we can move to step 5, which is the final step, right? And then going to the final step, this is uploading your document. They recommend that you do that you get it uploaded into the eVault. There's easy access for emergency purposes. You come in there, you go to Document Vault to upload your documents right into the vault that you'll have access to once you upload it and put it into play. Ladies and gentlemen, that is, excuse me, that is our entire, I kind of clicked through it for you, but that is how it works. And it's always good to be able to see how the program comes into play and actually and realistically works for our clients. Because our clients are going to always want to know how it works. And like I said, I want you to know how it works, but at the same time, also want to provide you with the better dynamics of options for you to be able to see exactly how it works. Now, I get a question every now and then, and I'm thankful to our founders out there, how they always come up with and make sure that we know all the things that we need to know, even if there's things that we had and didn't know. But I was on a line just the other day talking with Mr. Charles Calton, and he figured out a way and got it all concise. And I'm going to read through it, perhaps even share it with you here. I'm going to read through it so that you could be able to see it as well. How everything is set up for our security. And our security is pristine. It's something that is important to all people when you're working in an arena of things that are important to them. They're going to know how and what the deal is as it relates to the dynamics of security. So I think that is of the utmost importance for us to be able to have and to address. So let's see if I can address that really quickly. Not as quick as I had hoped. Let's see here. All right, so let me do that, and then I'll take some questions. I see that there have been some questions that have made its way into the chat, which is great. It's always great to be able to ask questions or to answer questions either. So, sharing, sorry. I think I'm sharing now. Should be coming up slowly, surely. You guys seeing this text here? Thumbs up. Anyone? Okay, got it. So estate planning software, it uses SHA 256/RSA 4096-bit keys, SSL encryption. That's what it uses. Now, the question is that safe? The answer is yes, that particular encryption is safe. It is considered secure enough to use beyond 2030. And why is this important to know? Because things change and they upgrade. They get new technology, and all right, you want to make sure that things are set in place. 4096-bit SSL certificates offer a higher level of security than 2048-bit certificates, making them a good choice for websites that handle sensitive information such as financial institutions, e-commerce sites, and government agencies. This is the field of play that we're in, ladies and gentlemen, as it relates to and around our security. Very, very important. Now, how important is it? Everybody wants to make sure that they're secure. Everyone wants to make sure that all of their stuff is secure. And the setup for everything that's put into place for our software is right there in place to bring them the security that they're looking for and that they know of. All right. Now, that is the security settings on there. And what I'm doing right now is I'm working through, I'm going to share this. I did the check on our software. And what you're looking at is a SSL lab report. And they gave it, this was just done. I was stalling while it was being done. Our certificate is an A, our protocol support, an A, our key exchange, an A, our cipher strength, an A. That's all based on the site that where we actually have the software in place. The certificate here that's set into place is all those bits that we just mentioned to you, and that was all just done today and ramped through, and the certificate transparency is set up and put into play. Ladies and gentlemen, we are secure. That's an important thing to be able to know and to convey to your clients, that we do have things secure. Now, there's a bunch of questions that have popped up, it seems. And so let me see if I can start to address those. I don't see any hands up. So let me just go right into the addressing of the questions this here. All right, we got a question from Lisa Harris. Is other where you would list things like cryptocurrency, Bitcoin, this there? Yes, you could be able to list that right in there. But you can also put that as a document if you want to put those things in there. Well, let me back up. You can list it in there, but you can also put it as a document if you want to put it in your vault as well. Mnemonic phrases and things of that nature. If you wanted to list those and put in your vault, you could be able to do that. So hopefully that makes a whole lot of sense. Let's see. I got another question. Says, would it be safe to say that if a person, and Lisa, if there's other questions on that, please bring them up. Would it be safe to say if a person is offered an estate planning through their job, it would not be funded? Would they have to pay additional fees to attorneys to fund them? Uh, I don't know what plan they may be offering at their job, so I can't really speak towards that. I can speak in general to say that most estate plans are not funded. Funding is typically outside the scope of the attorney, and traditionally there are more fees involved when that happens. But just to say a blanket that hey, that if they get an estate plan, their job is not going to be funded, I can't confidently state that. But it is a good question to be able to use this as a corporate benefit. It could be a phenomenal thing, a phenomenal offer if the employer is willing to subsidize it or pay for it for them. That could be a great thing. That's a very interesting, great thing too. But thank you for that, Cynthia. Is it Heard? Did I see Heard L? All right. Thank you for that question. Let's see, Elizabeth Johnson. How do beneficiaries actually get their hands physically on assets like jewelry, sofas, furnitures, etc.? Do they break into their deceased or loved one's home? Just how? Okay. I appreciate. Man, I love having fun. Great. So the way in which this would work out traditionally when a person passes, their stuff is held to it's actually released. And it's typically, it's held by the authorities until it's actually released. And what's great about having things in place like a certificate of trust, like those are things that are executed, and there's a legal proceeding that will allow for the disbursement according to the ratified documents as such. But they're normally held in queue until they're released like that. We have a video that I would share of that releasing. It's kind of a little tongue in cheek, but it is it's a pretty distinctive view of an estate plan being revealed. Maybe I should let Will will be able to watch this. Yeah, this will be a replay. This will be replayed, so you will be able to see this again. We are recording it. I think I should, Brian. You think I should take a moment to show that tongue-in-cheek video real quick?
Yeah, buddy. You talking about that funny one? Yeah, yeah. Do the reveal.
Okay, I'll do the reveal on that. Just give me a moment. Let me allow me to pull that up here, and I will be able to do so. That seems to be the last question there. If anyone else has a question, if you would just go ahead and raise your hand there, or feel free to do elsewhere on that. Let me see if I can bring it. I can bring it. Probably bring it up this way. It'd be quicker. There we go. Okay, doesn't look like there's any questions on that. So let me go ahead and pull this video up. I'll show you guys where it is, so it won't be a mystery.
All right. Yeah, we see your back. We see the
All right.
back.
So here's the back office, ladies and gentlemen. When I went to tools, I clicked on videos. You should be able to see it. And it's the power of wishes. So I'm gonna go ahead and view the power of wishes. Well, let me make sure I'm sharing the sound here. All right. And sorry, I had to pull it up again. Seeing it here?
All my assets, both liquid and otherwise, I leave in their entirety to Marta Cabrera. My entire ownership of Blood Like Wine Publishing, I leave in its entirety to Marta Cabrera. The copyright of its catalog, likewise, I leave in its entirety to Marta Cabrera.
No. That's not,
No.
no, that can't be.
No.
Can I see that, please, Alan?
That's right.
Please.
This can't be legal.
It's right. He's been,
Oh my God.
he's been.
Aren't there safeguards? There's an
I
estate.
don't know what to say. We're his family, so.
It's not possible.
There's safeguards against this? Right. Fine, something I think you know.
All right, ladies and gentlemen. That's the tongue-in-cheek part right there of going through the estate plan and having to adhere to the wishes. He was like, hey, we're his family. Well, maybe he was out of his mind when he did it. Da, 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 da. It's right there.
Doesn't matter.
So that's what we wanted to go through here with you guys on the estate planning side of that. You got the front end, the USA Today article about inheritance, and people really not about to get, receive one of them 1980 Michael Tyson punches, knocking them out as it relates to probate if they don't get, understand what's happening there, and then going through the dynamics of our estate plan and what it does overall and through all this there, and then to be able to bring it back around here for you guys and answer the questions that you have. Let's see. The replay of this will be located in what you just in your back office under library, and that's where you will be able to take a good look here for at things. Let's see. We have open mic here for Claudia Jeffers. Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, Derek, what is the process for the witnesses and the notary? So they go through the document, they're doing it online. How does it get notarized and witnessed?
Sure. The traditional way of being able to do that is to print all the documents out and to meet with the notary and the witnesses. Sometimes some notaries can supply witnesses, but that's the traditional way. And then you'll go back, scan all the documents back in to your secured vault, and you also have the physical copy of it. That's the traditional way. There is a way to do a remote online notary as well, to be able to do that. But those are the ways. Was that helpful?
Yes, it was. I just thought it was kind of cumbersome to do that, to have the witnesses on one end, and even if you have the IRON, you still have to have them notice that the witnesses are there. Yeah, it's just kind of a little cumbersome to me.
Well,
But
the
you
only
just
way to
print the
ratify,
documents out, yeah, and have them sign it in front of the notary, and then put it back into the system and put it back in the vault. Right?
yes, yeah.
Okay.
Documents have to be ratified, and you have to have two witnesses
Okay.
as well. That's how it has to happen. That's
Okay.
just the way that it's set up law-wise. That's not us. That's or the software. It's just the rules of engagement.
Okay, thank you.
Great question. Let's see. Someone asked the question here. Trust protects from probate. Does it also protect from any lawsuits? I saw an article today where a celebrity's estate was sued. Can you please explain? Actually, no, I cannot explain because I don't have any idea about that particular case and the dynamic, and I don't understand their setup of their estate or any of that stuff. That's going to be a legal question that I cannot provide advisement on whether or not you're suit proof, bulletproof, and all of that other stuff. Now, there's a number of different ways that I've heard of setups and things of that nature that's there, but that is through all and overall not the placement for us to be able to go through on there for that, and all the various different scenarios that can happen in regards to that. It's a great question that's there, but I think no matter where you go through to one degree or another, I think there's a probability of their legal proceedings can be almost enacted for any and every reason. So I don't venture to go down that. I'm not professional enough to do it. I can't. So hopefully that helps on that side. But that's the best I got from you. We need to talk to an attorney.
Exactly.
Anything?
Derek,
Yeah.
hey, Derek,
Yes, sir.
exactly. Yeah, I like the questions, but I like that question. But a lot of times we'll be approached with questions like that one that kind of tread on the line of legal matters. And unless you're a licensed lawyer or a licensed paralegal or some sort like that, you might want to shy away from those kind of things. It's just better to, we know what we do. And what we do is get people off probate by getting them on their revocable living trust and getting them all set up in that manner. But when people start digging, and even if I have a idea sometime of the answer, I still want to be a little bit shy because laws change all the time. Then there's statements to state specific. And what we don't want to do, just to protect our brand, is to start teeter-tottering down that line of giving any type of legal advice, anything near close to it. What we want to do is try to always in your mind, try to stray away from it if at all possible. I like to point people to reputable websites. Hey, that's a great question. Maybe if you hop online, there's a law firm right here in Maryland, stuff like that. So you can get that really good, crisp, fresh information from people who know 100% of the information. So we don't want people to say, hey, guess what Wealth Transfer Alliance doing? What? They're giving out legal advice. We don't want that. All right. We move this software to the people and we let the lawyers handle what the lawyers do. So I just thought that was a good question, Derek. I thought you
Very
answered
good question.
well. I just wanted to kind of piggyback on it a little bit.
All right, so here's the last one we have up here now. No other hands are raised. Does the trust protect assets against state liens for persons who receive benefits like Medicaid? That's a great question.
That's a great question.
That's a great question. And so, it's as if, okay, well, my house is now owned by my trust. And, now does that protect me against Medicare spin down and things of that nature? I'm going to venture to say, I don't provide that type of advice. I see some Medicare specialists shaking their heads though, and they're saying no, it doesn't. But as for me, I'm not ACC compliant. That's not my field of licensure, and I'm going to offer you some software that's going to get you off probate. That's what the software says, and that's all I'm going to say on that. And man, we got some smart people in here, though. I appreciate it.
We got those AHIP compliant folks in there, and we're gonna let people that's AHIP compliant deal with AHIP compliance. Hey, listen, always keep in your back of your mind, when in doubt, leave it out. Okay, that's something I do all the time. I said, whatever I'm in doubt, I'll leave it out. And even if I think I know the answer, if it's outside of my sphere of licensing, you want to kind of steer away from that stuff. They're good answers.
Hey, and I'm just telling you guys, follow suit here with what we're doing on this. Even if we have experts that are on here, don't repeat what they're saying. That's outside the field, because I'm telling you guys what I know. We are a disruptor.
Yes, we're
going to change generations and genealogies for the betterment of families. And that's going to take money out of other people's pockets And if they're able to link in somehow that the CEO told them such and such, and the president told them such and such, I heard on one of their calls that one of their advocates said X, Y, and Z. No, no, no. Now, if you're one of our advocates is an attorney and you're in their office, that's that attorney. They're not speaking for WTA on that. We're going to stay crisp and clean on that side, and that's the hour we're going to. But I'm not trying to dodge the question. I'm just saying it's not my profession, and it doesn't have to be your profession to be able to do this. All right. We had a hand up. Yes.
Hey,
yes, sir.
You ever heard the expression, you give somebody a rope and they want to be a cowboy, right?
Well, I also heard the expression about ropes. If you give them enough, they'll hang themselves.
Exactly. And that's the case here, and I just might interject this just personally. I believe in using the software that we have to really set up something that's going to get people off of probate. But understand that there's going to be those outlying situations that necessarily will scream, get yourself a lawyer to look over this. But they're outliers. It's not the norm. Mm-hmm. But we don't get involved in that. That's on you. We are going to take you this far. And I'm absolutely certain that because you have the baseline understanding of this revocable trust, whatever you got to do to add an additional eyeball or something on it is going to be minuscule compared to what you would have had to do if you had to go from scratch. And I'm not giving you legal advice. It's just math here. We're talking math. So, but yeah, I mean, that's what keeps me awake at night, guys. It really does, because we just got to keep it, clean and clear. Clean and clear.
No legal advice. Listen, the software is going to do what it says it's going to do. Only speak towards where the software speaks. When the software doesn't speak, be silent. Just let the software. In fact, the software is going to get you. Let the software speak by itself. You don't even have to say what the software says. Just let the software speak. I mean, it's the easiest thing to be able to do. You know what? Check it. And the software is going to tell you that. If not, there's attorneys that can help you. That's on top of all that. So and I think
get your commission check.
There you go.
Right. Because you didn't did your job. You helped.
Right. That's it.
All right. So we got a couple of hands up here. I'll pass it over here to Team Chapman.
Yeah, I had to chuckle on that one, Derek, because that is a question I get a lot because I'm working in the Medicare space. And I would say to everyone on the call tonight, like I said, I get it all the time. I do know the answer, but for each of you and for your clients that you would be working with, the answer depends. And you have to leave it at that, because there's no uniform answer for every situation. So to stay out of trouble, the easiest thing to say is you have to find out through the state and an attorney whether or not that applies to you. Because there are situations where assets can be preserved, and then there are assets where they are situations where the assets are not, and you just don't want to go down that slippery slope. So to stay safe for you, from an advice standpoint, don't even try to answer that question, because it is way too complicated and every situation is different.
I appreciate that so much. And you just reminded me, ladies and gentlemen, this call is being recorded. And if you don't get this, go back and listen to this recording. Thank you so very much what you just said, Cynthia. Here is the most important thing that you can say when they ask the question. I'm going to ask the question. I'm going to give you the most important way to answer this question, or the best way, I think. Trust protects from probate. Does it also protect from any lawsuits? I saw an article today where a celebrity's estate was sued. Can you please explain? That's very interesting. That situation really depends on a lot of variables that's there. My advice to you is to be able to seek the proper legal counsel to make sure that you have the right answer. I'm going to do it again. Where's that question there? Does the trust protect assets against state liens for persons who receive health benefits like Medicaid? That's a very good question. The answer to that depends. My advice to you is to seek proper professional counsel on that question, whether it be a healthcare individual or whether it be someone in the legal field, to be able to get that answer for you. Our software would do exactly what it's meant to do, to be able to transfer your assets over and be able to put all that stuff into play. But that particular question, it depends. You throw in, it depends. So much that I don't have the expertise on it, you need to get another expert. It always depends, by the way. So your answer is correct because it always depends. You didn't provide advice. You gave them straight and away. You let them know where they need to get the answer for it, and you don't provide the answer or advisement. And that is very keen, because I will disclose to you that I know an individual who was not providing legal advice. All right. However, he appeared to be giving it. He got in trouble because of his appearance that he gave, because he wrote down different things for them to be able to ask the attorneys and the lawyers for, and they had that document on his letterhead that he sent into that, and he got in trouble. So you don't ever want to be anywhere close to that, guys. All right, so I think we kind of answered that. It was there to say, I know there's a disclaimer, right? Should we also look into personal liability coverage to protect ourselves? That's a very good question on that side. If you want to be able to do that, depending upon how deep, let me back up for a second, just so you can understand. There are individuals who are attempting to do similar things to which we are doing. However, they are too deep into it. We at WTA, if you look into our terms and conditions, it is a you can be in trouble with WTA if you are accessing clients' estate plans. That's not what we do. There are some people who are, give me your password and your username, and I will do. I'm telling you what I know. That is trouble. And WTA, we are far. We're giving them the Heisman. We're staying far away from that. That is not what we're doing. And that's not what we advise you to do. That's not what we train you to do. Please do not do that. Stay far away from doing that. But there are people that are doing that type of stuff where they're putting together people's plans for them and you get their username and password. All it takes is one relative that says they had the access to. We don't have access to anybody's accounts. There's no way that we have access to anybody's accounts, and we don't ever want that. So we believe, I would never say that you should not get any coverage for yourself, because if you feel you need coverage, get it. Have it in place. I can understand your questioning on that, and that's a good question. But is it necessary? It is not necessary to be able to be functional with WTA to do that. But if you feel that it is, then that's your perception, and go for it. You should do so. So at current, that's my advisement as it relates, or my answer to that particular question that you gave. All right. I thought I saw another hand, but they went away.
Angela hand is up.
There she is. All right, go ahead and unmute. You good?
Good evening, everyone. So my question is, as we're talking about setting up user accounts and passwords and things like that. So if someone, say for instance, if they've set up their username and may have forgotten their password, or vice versa. How does that work as far as with them gaining that access to get that? And then another question is, I know that we're trying to stay out of the line of fire with giving advice and vice versa, but if someone has a question when they are funding their estate, or just a general question, how are we to answer that question, or how are we to refer them or give them some type of help with that? How can we?
Hey Derek, username, password. If someone somebody forget their username and password, there's a forgot password button that they can click, and then they will get get to go through the whole steps to update their password. I had a young lady, but she's I like to call her a young lady, but she like to say, she's old enough to be my grandma. But she's a young lady and she had lost her username, password, forgot it. And we just simply clicked the button and had it updated. And people can always email support@wealthtransferalliance.com, which they'll have access to that, and our support team would help them out. On the side of answering questions, hey coach, why don't we take that on as far as how far we go down the rabbit hole when it comes to answering some of the simple questions that people have.
Yeah, I think what happens is the simple questions are, well, they're typically answered in the software. I haven't had, maybe someone give me an example of a question that's not addressed in there, because the other questions are all preferences. Hey, should I have my trust be the owner of my life insurance policy and the beneficiary, or should it just be the beneficiary? That's their preference, what they want to be able to do. If you're not insurance licensed, don't go there. Don't talk about that. That's there, but that's their preference this one.
Right.
How they want to do it.
Right. The software is very intuitive, and as Derek will share tonight as he went through it. And thank you, Derek, for that excellent demo. I love when you go through the demo. Give everybody who hasn't become a product of the product just yet, because we do ultimately want everyone to have the product. Now we understand why we want to be on the product: to protect ourselves, to be an example, to leaders know the way, they show the way, they go the way. So all of you are leaders, you know the way, you show the way, and you go the way. So you want to make sure you have that in place for yourself so you can touch it, feel it, and become experienced with it as well. But as Derek was showing, it's very intuitive. There's algorithms built into the software that open up different icons and videos that kind of help people along the way. And then there's FAQs, and there's other videos embedded in there for customers to review. So it's an informative and empowering system, not just a plug and play system. Anything that's in videos, let's say how to find that information. I was just on the phone and I text Derek this today. I said, Derek, somebody just asked me, hey, Brian, when can we get together to go through my documents? Remember I texted you that, Derek?
Yeah.
I was like, we get together to go through your documents? Like, since when? But now you and your wife gonna get together and go through them documents, unless we're gonna start charging you a monthly fee. But like I shared with this gentleman, I say, hey, listen, you're gonna go through them documents, and what I do, I like to go through the videos myself, and when I know how to find information, I can point them to it. Oh, there's an excellent video on that. Oh, there's an excellent video on that. Oh, that's on your website under the FAQs, because we have the demo and we have the software. So become familiar with the software by setting yourself up ASAP to become a customer, product of the product. And if you know the answers by something you read in our documentation, that will keep you safe. For example, any of the videos that we have that's connected to our software, then those videos are in compliance. How do we know? Because Adam Studnicki, our chief of compliance, who went to Harvard, 35 years in the industry as an attorney, they screened all the videos, and they went through all our manuals and things of that nature. So what I like to do is go in our back office and look in the library, find that information that's in there. And if you can say, here's where I got the information from, and you can do it verbatim. A lot of times I like to read it directly to people so that I'm not misstating something, because it's easy for you to drop one or two words in a sentence and then change the whole meaning of the sentence. Sometimes stuff get lost in communication. I communicate with my wife every day. I thought I said this and she heard that. And I'm like, wait a minute, I just said this. Where'd you hear that? And so I got to rewind that and say, let me say it a different way. And so I like to, when I'm dealing with customers, I like to be able to go to their system and show them where that information is so they can have it in front of them and they can read it for themselves and not try to be the subject matter expert. Here at WTA, we are the business for the busy. Y'all keep that in mind. We are the business for the busy. We don't want to get too bogged down into the details. We want a business where we're peaking and passing and moving on to, like Charles Carlton just said, Brother Carlton, and wait for your check. You saw him do that? All right. That's what you want to do. And you want to be able to pass that on to either peak it, their interest, and pass them to the information. But what we don't, we want you to elevate your IQ on estate planning, corporate benefits, and the other verticals we have coming down the road. That's going to be even more incredible. But we don't want you to have to feel like you need to be the subject matter expert, because then you're going to need to get errors and omission insurance, certification, maybe even licensures, and things like that. We don't want you to have to do that. We have an estate planning software, and your job is to be Amazon. We move the packages. We don't make them. Great questions, though. And y'all, everybody clear on that? Y'all can raise your hand if y'all following and tracking okay. Somebody give us some feedback. Let us know that you guys got it. There you go. Thumbs up. Great questions, though. But what we're trying to do in a tactful way is to just steer you away from getting yourself in the bushes on stuff. And those of us who are licensed, and we have a lot of licensed people here. I mean, we have some tax advisors on the call right now. I can see their names. We have some licensed insurance, health, life, annuities, securities licensed people on the phone right now. And they will tell you, even they are very guarded about how they answer questions. You heard from Cynthia Chapman a minute ago, how guarded she can be when somebody asks her something about Medicare. You know, you got to be careful not to get into the weeds of stuff, because if something go wrong, what you don't want that client doing is pointing at you and saying, you told me, and then trying to subpoena you or something. You want to say, hey, I told you just what Derek Johnson said. Well, that's a great question, and it depends. Now, let's go to your software. Let's see if we can find the answer to that in that software system. And let them do some research themselves. Your job is not to be there for them every step of the way, but you do want to provide great customer experience. And we'll talk about how to do that. Any other questions? I saw, oh, there's a hand. Hey, Miss Ava Carlton. How are you? Ava Carlton Akins.
Hello, how is everybody this evening?
Phenomenal. How are you?
Good, good. So as this came up, I thought about how I'm marketing it, and I just wanted to share, it may help some people. So I'm marketing it as a personal estate planning system. And I'm emphasizing when I talk to people that it's personal. So because it's personal, you can't ask me any questions. You need to go through the modules in there. It's very informative. It provides all the information. Those are the general things that I tell people, but I am very much emphasizing that it is a personal estate planning system. I'm encouraging them to take it because you're not spending $3,000 to $7,000. It's a system, it's only $19.95, and it's all inclusive. And if they have any questions, those questions will be answered in that system. And in that way, you can steer away from, after the sale, having to provide customer service. Essentially, I don't want to do that. I want to sell them the personal estate planning system and be on to my next person. So I just thought I would share that might be helpful for some people. Thank you.
Very helpful. Love it. Boom. Like they said on boom, drop the mic.
Hey, there was another question. It says, how a joint trust handled with WTA. The technology, the software uses that in a number of ways. The AB trust is set up as such, you know, where you can separate the assets so that it's under separate names and all that stuff. So the system handles that in the beginning when you choose standard trust or AB trust, and it listed, and it gives you a video, gives you an understanding of what the difference are. So hopefully that answers. the question there. And the person said they missed part of the demo. Come back and check the video. Hopefully after it compiles, we'll have this video up later.
Any other questions in the chat or hands?
No other hands, no other questions. I saw another hand that popped up and disappeared, but I guess they're okay. All right.
Hey,
Mr.
Derek.
Brian Rowley, you got a couple of announcements and want to trigger us on the tool?
Well, hello, Coach. Hey, everybody. Hey, everybody. If y'all enjoyed Derek Johnson and Coach Johnson's training, come on, let me see you put your hands together for our buddy there. And there you go. I see hands going.
Come on, man. You got it, brother.
Thumbs up. That's great. We really appreciate it, man. Hey, listen, what I want to do is just remind some people of a few things. Number one, remember, are we in sales? Let me ask that question. Are we in sales? If you somebody answer that for me, are we in sales or are we in something else? What's the word? You are the host now. Good. I'm the host.
We're not in sales, we're in service.
Thank you so
Service.
much. Service. That's the
Nice.
answer.
Service.
I like
Right.
that. Service.
Service. Did you hear that echo, man? And then we didn't even plan it like that. Lisa jumped out there like, we're not in sales, we're in, that thing floated. Service. Took me back to the 1970s. I'm not gonna tell y'all why. All right. But anyway, the 70s were crazy. But no, that's good stuff. No, we're not. And then okay, another thing too, I want to bring up this video I want to play for you real quick. I am going to play a short video. It's not even a minute long. I'm going to share my screen, see if I can pull it up. Oh, let me share my sound. Let's see, share. Boom. I like stuff like this. I don't know. I just like motivational kind of stuff. And let me see if I can share my sound. Share sound. Gotta share sound. All right. And I was listening to Warren Buffett, right? And Warren Buffett, everybody knows who Warren Buffett is, I'm sure, right? Multi-billionaire investor. And Warren Buffett was talking about, and this is a short, so it's short, okay? And Warren Buffett was just talking about that averages and the numbers and patience, and it just made me think about WTA. So I want to quickly play this, then I want to give you guys some updates on some things, and there might be another one I want to play that's even like 3 or 4 minutes. But let's hear what Mr. Warren Buffett, the multi-billionaire, had to say about patience, and I'll come back and piggyback on it in a minute.
In investing, there's no called strikes. People can throw Microsoft at me and, you name it, any stock, General Motors, and I don't have to swing. And nobody's going to call me out on called strikes. I only get a strike called if I swing at a pitch and miss. So I can wait there and look at thousands of companies day after day, and only when I see something I understand and when I like the price at which it's selling, then if I swing, if I hit it, fine. If I miss it, it's a strike. But it's an enormously advantageous game, and it's a terrible mistake to think you have to have an opinion on everything. You only have to have an opinion on a few things. In fact, you don't need 20 right decisions to get very rich. 4 or 5 will probably do it over time.
Hey, you don't need a lot to get rich, all right? And so as you're out here thinking about your opportunity we have right here, you may talk to a lot of people, and everybody's gonna have an opinion, right? You don't need everybody. All you need is a handful of people. I mean, a handful of good people. And guess what? You can get very wealthy with this opportunity. And I thought about what he said, and I said, yep, it's the law of averages. Just going through the numbers, talking to the people, and when you get that 4 or 5 good ones, guess what's going to happen? They'll find 4 or 5 good ones, and then they'll find 4 or 5 good ones. And then before you know, you are rich. And next thing you know, you're going to go from rich to wealthy. And there's a difference between being rich and wealthy. Hey, Derek Johnson, what's that difference go like, Derek? Hey, Coach, remember we were looking at Shaquille O'Neal? What did Shaquille O'Neal say about his check?
So the whole idea is, Shaquille O'Neal was getting those big checks. Everybody's like, man, I want Shaquille O'Neal's check. And then there's a recognition. I think I want the check that the person who wrote his check gets.
That's wealthy. Shaquille O'Neal was rich, but the guy who wrote his check, oh yeah, he was wealthy. So Shaq got like 100 million or something. So that the guy who could write that check, he had riches. And also I was listening to Buffett, and there was a young lady in this video right here who became very wealthy, and he was telling her story. and it just resonated with me. So I want to play just a portion of it. And then I'll come back to you with some updates on the company, then we'll let you go. And then I want to ask you a question about our incentives that we have. So I want to talk about that as well. So let me play a small portion of this, then I'll be back about the incentives, then some updates.
They knew they could be something beyond where they were.
Sorry, y'all see how fast I listen to stuff. I don't know if y'all ears clued in on speed 2, but if you're like me, I stay on speed 2. Let me back that up to normal. My son say, how do you listen to that? I said, I've been living a long time. All right, here we go.
These people had one thing in common. You know, they knew they had it in themselves. They knew they could be something beyond where they were. They were willing to put their time, their energies to better themselves. What you really could do with more skills, it's just remarkable. So I would like to just tell you a couple of short stories, and we'll draw maybe a couple of lessons from them. I would like to tell you of 2 women that each sold a business to Berkshire Hathaway, to me actually, for many, many, many millions of dollars. Both of them started with $2,500. By a coincidence, it was the exact same amount. It was everything they had in the world. And one of them was a woman who landed in Seattle in 1917, couldn't speak a word of English, had a tag around her neck. The tag said Fort Dodge, Iowa. The Red Cross got her to Fort Dodge, where she was reunited with her husband who had come to the country a couple of years earlier. And she lived in Fort Dodge for 2 years. And as she put it, she felt like a dummy. She couldn't pick up the language. She couldn't learn a word. And so she and her husband decided to move to Omaha. So they came to Omaha in 1919. And there she found a small colony of Russian Jews, so she started feeling more at home. And then as her oldest daughter went to school, she would come home, this daughter, Frances, and she would teach her mother the words she'd learned in school that day. And this woman, Rose Blumpkin, spent 20 years saving money, bringing first her siblings over, her mother and father, $50 at a time. She sold used clothing to do it. She had 4 children during this period. And by 1937, after 20 years, she'd saved $2,500. She went to Chicago and she bought what she could of furniture. Her dream had always been to open a furniture store. And this woman who had never gone to school one day in her life, with $2,500, but with the same spirit that the people in this room had about having a dream and working to accomplish that dream, she built a business which she sold to me in 1983 for $60 million approximately, and which did $1.5 billion worth of business last year. The 4th generation is working in that business. This woman, Rose Blumpkin, she worked for me until she was 103. And then then she retired and she died the next year, which is a lesson to all of Berkshire's managers that premature retirement, you can't tell what's going to happen. But Mrs. B, with her $2,500, one further fact about her, she could not read or write. And she went into a furniture business, and she didn't bring anything unique in furniture, but she brought a determination to succeed. She knew she could outwork anyone else. She knew she cared about her customers. She worked at very low gross margins, but she built this incredible business. And I saw one other woman who did a similar thing with $2,500.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, come on, somebody give me some
That was
feedback
awesome.
on that. What did this lady have that all of us have? Somebody, can you see a little bit of her in you? Maybe you know how to read and write, you speak the language. But if she can come over here and do what she did, what were some of the key features that you saw in her that you can put in you that you have that can do what she did? Anybody want to step out real quick and
she had a dream.
There you go.
That she was let anybody deter her from that dream under her circumstances.
Thank you, Tracy. We appreciate that. Anyone else?
Yeah, I got a comment.
Yes, sir.
I always tell people, and what I get from this too also, you can't change what you tolerate, and you cannot conquer what you're not willing to confront.
I
That's
think
right.
one of the things that stuck out with me, Brian, was when she went back where she felt out of place. And then she went to a place where she was more readily received, a colony of other Jewish people. Remember that second segment?
Oh yeah, that was a
And
good
there's
one.
an
Yeah.
expression, go where you're celebrated and not tolerated.
Mm.
And you get in that environment, your resources, the universe gives you the resources that you need just from the human spirit interacting. I don't know whether you guys, I don't get too deep in that, but that was a deep point that I got there. So just being with people who think like you think, people can support you, lift you up, that, and the language so that you can communicate with these people. She could communicate with those folks. So I mean, it's a beautiful story.
Absolutely beautiful. And I just love the way everybody, Coach Johnson, hey Coach, you hear how everybody have different pieces that they're pulling out. You hearing some of these deep comments?
Yep.
Anybody want to add to what's already been shared? Because I just think that little
Right.
clip, 3 minutes, is powerful.
I think that she had a lot of trust. I mean, she had to trust people in order to build a business like that. She didn't let her limitations of her reading and writing hold her back. She said, well, I'm gonna have to trust these people because I can't read none of this stuff. I don't know what kind of spiritual understanding she had or what, but to me, it looked like she was trusting something besides herself.
Love it. I love the intellect. I love the deep thinking tonight. Angela, your hand went up. See, can you unmute? I'm gonna ask you to unmute.
Yes, I think for her, she faced her giants with the determination to be successful. So despite of how big of an obstacle that was for her, she still pushed forward.
Love it. That's it. And we all have those innate qualities inside of us. The ability to connect with people where we're celebrated, not tolerated. The ability to conquer our fears, the ability to reach inside and supersede any limitations we have. This lady couldn't read or write, but she was determined to outwork everyone. Somebody put in the chat, determination to succeed. Cassandra wrote resilience. I love it. And that's what it takes to win with this opportunity. She took $2,500 and sold it to Warren Buffett. You saw how many millions of dollars. That could be you and I. Don't think for a minute that it can't happen to you. It can. Let's keep this business clear, crisp, and concise. And let's get out here and help people get off of probate. And let's take these benefits to the workplace and the other services that we're going to be bringing in here in the future. That's our commission, and it's our calling. And if you look at it as a commission and a calling, and you look at it about that commission calling, and you attach that to caring, and if you care about the people, they'll see and feel that you care about them. And trust me, they'll get in there, and I'm just putting the word on trust, all right? But to trust me, they will get that trust from you, and then they'll go in there and they'll learn how to use that software, and they'll be in such a better place than where they were. Because right now they're headed towards a disaster, which is called probate court. I was on the phone with Cassandra. Cassandra has a brand new recruit, enrollee. She nominated Natasha. Natasha told me a story that blew my mind. She said the reason she joined because she already knows too much about probate. And one day I'll have to let you hear her story, and it will literally blow your mind how long she had to fight probate court. But I got a few hands. Oh, somebody put tenacious. That's right. I got a few hands that went up, and I don't want to skip out on those. So I'll start with the ladies first. Cynthia, are you able to unmute?
Yeah, Brian, I was just gonna echo what other folks were saying, but to also say, if you listen to that story, it started with her why. She was bringing family over.
Hey.
And if you know your why,
if
you commit to your why, if it's a big enough why,
yes,
you're not gonna stop. And, my husband and I, when we first started working on this business and we looked at what it could do, I looked at him and I said, this why can bring my brother home. I haven't shared with the group. I have a brother who is disabled and he is in California, and there's no family on the West Coast. And because of his military benefits, the way they're set up, in order for us to move him from California to North Carolina, where the rest of the family is, it will cost us about $10,000 to $12,000 a month to support him until we can get him established here. And I looked at my husband and I said, WTA is going to bring my brother home. That's one of my whys. So if you know your why, and your why is big enough, especially if it's your family, you won't stop. And she didn't stop. You know, her why changed over time, and she began to work for her customers and what she was building in her legacy. But it started with her why.
Yes, love it. Write down your 5 whys and then circle the one that means the most out of those 5, and get laser focus on that one. And when you accomplish it, scratch it off, go to the next one, circle the next most important one. That's exactly what I did. I wrote down 5 whys. I got a whole list of them, but I wrote down 5 and I put the big circle around the one that means the most. Mr. Charles Carlton, I'm going to unmute you. Thank you, Cynthia. See if you can unmute.
Okay, there it is. Oh, just very briefly, I'm going to find that video because that 3 minutes is powerful. One of the things I picked up on was that he said that she continued to work for him. Did you catch that?
Oh yeah.
There's something magical about being in the flow of life.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that was like awesome. So even though she made 60 million, and she could have gone off and says, I'm done, but she stayed in the flow of life because she had such a deep appreciation for the work that she was doing. I mean, it wasn't about the money anymore. It really wasn't. And I mean, that's just,
That's awesome.
a great video. I love it.
Yeah, she lived to be over 100 years old too. And I think when you're working to something you love to do, the stress levels are lower, and you get endorphins, and you're excited about it, and you're stirring up all these wonderful feelings of worth. And I'm telling you, I have to think that that's what carried her past 100 years old. Jimmy hand went up, but somebody said we're not in sales. We're sharing a very important life-saving necessity. Allison, I love that comment. Jimmy West, have y'all came up with a script to use for approaching Chamber of Commerce? Come to the call Thursday, Jimmy. We'll have our third-party administrators on there, again, the co-founder of our Project Blue, and he'll talk to you about how to approach chambers. I'm going to unmute you, Jimmy. If that was your question, then I already addressed it. If not, if you have something different, then you can go ahead and bring that forward. So
I just want to piggyback on what Mr. Carlton said. You know, it also speaks volume to Mr. Buffett himself.
Yes.
You know, for somebody that want to work for him that long, even after she became a millionaire.
Oh,
so
man.
it speaks volume about the individual. You know, just like, you know, the little time that I have known you, Brian, and Derek, you know, y'all got such a aura about you all that I can't see why no one wouldn't want to work for this company. To be honest with you.
Oh, thank you, man. I appreciate that. Hey, listen, if only we could be like Mr. Buffett there, because he said he got 4 generations of that family still working.
Hey, listen, that's our goal. That's our goal. If we can get 4 generations, imagine all of us on the call right now, and all of you are leaders in your own right. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to table the other things I wanted to share. It's not that big of a deal. What I wanted to share, we can come back on the next call Thursday and pick up anything we missed tonight, because we won't keep our third-party administrator that long. So I'm just going to close us out, and but I don't want to leave anybody out. But you know, that's part of our mission, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you, Jimmy, for what you shared. But part of our mission is certainly for this business to outlive us. It'd be nice to have 4 generations, like my children, you know, involved in this opportunity. And then, you know, that's called legacy. I was talking to Lisa and Tim Harris. I'll never forget it. When I met them for the first time, they were such gracious hosts. And I met them at their resort that they had, and I was not too far away, and they invited me up to the mountains to visit with them. And my wife and kids came with me. And I'll never forget sitting at the table with them, and They had fruit out for me. Hey, Derek, they had a sign that said "Welcome Raleigh family" on the table. Those things go all out. They go all out, man. And they had fruit all
Team Harris.
Yeah, Team Harris. I don't know if they're on the call tonight. Yeah, I think they are. And they had a fruit basket. They had signs up, man. What my family and I, we were so honored by them. And but I'll never forget when Lisa said, you know, Tim and I, we have grandchildren, and we mean plural. And I just want to be able to say one day that they can point to my picture on the wall and say, and my husband's picture, and say, that's how we got to where we are today, because they left us an inheritance and a legacy that outlived them. So no, I love that. And thank you guys for talking about that longevity. That's another very important part of that little small clip we saw. And all of that's relate to us here at WTA. If we stay the course, stay committed to the cause, keep plugging in, keep learning, but learn how to peak and pass and keep it simple, because simplicity is what sells. Simplicity will duplicate. And when you start finessing things too much and getting all fancy, that's when you fail. I think my brother Ed said that when you get fancy, you fail. When you keep it simple, then it's super. So that being said, I think we're done. I don't see any other questions. Oh, here's somebody wrote here. Okay, my lovely wife. She chimed in. I gotta read what she wrote. How you gonna forget me? Man, y'all, my wife said, as an immigrant, I had to learn the language first to be able to open opportunities for me, as opposed to someone who was born with opportunities but do not take advantage of them. Wow. My wife came from a country that was impoverished, war-stricken, gang-ridden. She came from Central America to the States when she was a little girl, and she said she didn't speak a lick of English, but she's able to work her way up and get educated. And now look at her now, man. I'm telling you, she's a big help behind the scenes. For those of you who don't know my wife, Olinda, she is a big, huge help to us behind the scenes. And you'll be hearing more from her as we go forward. Plus, she want to help get that Hispanic Latino market off the ground. So I know we have Adrius. Adrius is on the line. I saw her tonight. She asked about that as well. How can we do more for the Latino Hispanic community? And we're here to help all communities, okay? Right. WTA is not, we're equitable, okay? We're all about DEI, diversity, equity, and inclusion. That's what we're about. And we want all shades, okay? Because what we're trying to do is help people get off of probate. And that means all people. And it's like 75% of our nation right now is headed towards probate, 25% have an estate plan. And out of that 25%, most of those are not properly funded. And the other little piece of those are people who have wills and testaments that they believe going to save them from probate, but they're going to find themselves in dire straits. With that being said, that's all I have for you tonight.
Great call. Great
we went
call.
a little bit over. Blessings to all of you. Thank you so much for your time. All right. Anything else? Coach, you're going to close us out?
Oh, hey, man, listen, this was awesome. I appreciate the input, the questions, the comments. And guys, listen, let's just keep on doing what we're doing. There's an explosion about to take place. And that explosion is going to be of just a phenomenal things, and we're all going to be able to benefit from it. If you guys don't mind, you can go ahead and unmute and say your goodbyes until next time, which is Wednesday
night.
WTA earned.
Yep, thank you all.
8 p.m. All right, guys.
Good night, everybody.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Good night, everybody.
Thanks, guys.
Appreciate
Awesome.
all.
Good night, all.
Good night. Good night, everybody. Blessings to you.
Good night, John Boy.
Good night. Good night, John Boy.
Not many people know that. I remember it.
Good night, John Boy.
Nightmare, best. See you again, Brian.
Hey, good to see you too. Vaughn, how you doing, brother? Welcome to the team, man.
Oh man, what a pleasure. What a blessing.
Oh man, I saw you signed on today. We're glad to have you, man.
Yeah, I'm glad to be here too.
It's good to reconnect.
And Derek helped my hyperverse one day. Get my money out of my account. So I just feel honored and blessed to be on a team with y'all guys, man. And
awesome, man.
And Ron Bush, I've known them for years, and they've been really, really good to me. So
man, good to hear your voice, man. I haven't heard from you in a month of Sundays. It's been a couple of years. So, but we're gonna do some great things today together, brother.
We was in that Mortgage America thing 15 years ago.
Yeah, Mortgage America, you and I, 15 years ago doing mortgages.
That's right.
And look at us now doing WTA, taking it all the way to the top.
Right.
Hey, blessings to you, Vaughn.
Blessings to you too, brother. You and your family. Everybody on the line. God bless.
God bless you, brother.
Take care all.
Good night, everybody.
Bye. Bye-bye.